There are a lot of different definitions for cultures. Tell us what your definition of culture is.
Culture is a very hard word to define. It's like explaining water to a fish. It's in everything that we do.
Taking from culture is the easy way out, but really being a part of culture is, I think, very challenging for brands.
You don't understand and learn culture sitting on the sidelines. It's like flying over New York City. You don't know the city until you walk the streets.
We're very good at being students of culture, but we're not really great at being participants in culture. 71% of people are saying that they want brands on TikTok if they participate and show up like one of them.
Brands are vessels of meaning. The brands that have the most impact on culture are the ones who contribute to it. I don't even think about TikTok as a social networking platform. I think about it more so as a facilitator. It is giving you tools to go create.
Marketing leaders are taking an experimental approach, an innovative approach, and they're like testing the waters because culture exists on this platform in a really powerful way. Hey everyone, welcome to Made for TikTok. I'm Sofia Hernandez, Global Head of Business Marketing and Commercial Partnerships at TikTok. Today, I have the pleasure of chatting with Dr. Marcus Collins, who is just an incredible human being and incredibly brilliant, and has really brought this unique point of view to our world about culture. And so we're going to talk about that today. But let me tell you a little bit about Marcus. An award-winning marketer, culture translator, and cultural translator, professor at the Ross School of Business. He's representing with his shirt today. Recognized by Advertising Age's 40 Under 40 Award. Crane's 40 Under... Marcus, how old are you? All these 40 Under 40s?
I'm over 40 now.
Okay. So these recognitions go way back and are still continuing. And he's an inductee into the American Advertising Federation Hall of Achievement. Marcus has driven strategy at Wieden and Kennedy, has led campaigns for brands like Nike and Apple, and he continues to partner with brands all over the world. I know he's flying to Brazil tonight, in fact, to meet with a bunch of brands, because his insights really empower brands to join the cultural conversation, both on and off TikTok. But today, we're going to talk about TikTok and culture overall, because culture exists on this platform in a really powerful way. I'd love to dive into that with you.
Awesome. Where shall we start?
Okay. Well, why don't we start by, because you wrote a whole book about this. Okay. I think, even on my team, when we talk about how we help brands infuse themselves in culture and really truly be a part of culture, there are a lot of different definitions for culture. So like, as an academic, as someone who wrote a book, as an expert on culture, tell us what your definition of culture is.
I think your estimation is correct. Culture is a very hard word to define because of the nature of culture. It's so amorphous. It is omnipresent. It's like explaining water to a fish. It's in everything that we do because it is everything. And there are a lot of different ways to think about culture through different disciplines. I tend to think about it through a sociological lens, particularly through a sociologist named Emil Durkheim, one of the founding fathers of sociology.
Okay.
And he would talk about culture as a system of conventions and expectations that demarcate who we are and govern what people like us do. It's an operating system that carves out the place that we occupy in the social world and identifies what's acceptable for people like us and what's expected of people like us. And because we self-identify by these kind of people, we therefore adhere to those conventions. So because of our identity, we see the world a certain way. That's why for some, a cow is leather, for others it's a deity, and for some it's dinner. Which one is it? It's all those things, depending on who you are and how you see the world. For some, a rug is decor. For others, it's a souvenir. For some, it's a place of worship. Which one is it? All of those things, depending on who you are. And because we see the world a certain way, we navigate life accordingly. The artifacts we don, the behaviors that are normative, the language that we use, then we express ourselves through shared work, right? Television, print, out of home, radio, movies, poetry, pottery, brands and branded products are all these, agendas or schemes by which we project our identity in such a way that it is demonstrative of who we are. And that system of systems make up our culture.
Love it. Love it. Okay. I am going to ask you to put your marketer's hat on.
Okay.
And simplify the complex. So if you're talking to a group of CMOs today, how do you define culture as they need to understand it?
Oh, I would say that culture is the way by which we make meaning.
I love that.
And they'll
I
hear that
love
and go, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, culture is a meaning making system. It's the lens that we use to translate the world. It's the way that we take something that is so messy, it's so disorganized, it's so crazy. You look outside, it's just randomness. It's a way that we see randomness and actually translate it to something that is meaningful, full of meaning. Raymond Williams defined culture as a realized signifying system. So I love this idea that culture is a meaning-making system.
Meaning-making system.
And for brands, nothing could be more powerful,
of course.
because brands are vessels of meaning, right? They are identifiable signifiers that conjure up thoughts and feelings in the hearts and minds of people. And because of what the brand means, we therefore consume it accordingly. And the brands that have the most meaning, the more meaningful brands, these are the brands that transcend their category. These are the most powerful brands there are.
Right.
They're not just sneakers. They are a signifier for every human body as an athlete.
Yeah.
Right? They're not just a fleece jacket. They're a signifier for mitigating our evasiveness from the planet.
Yeah.
They're not just a can of water. They signify death to plastics.
Yes.
Unbelievably powerful.
Yeah. Brands have a lot of power.
Absolutely.
And the way that they bring that meaning to life is what creates the connection between a brand and the people they're trying to connect with.
That's right.
I think we've entered a time and we've been moving into this transition for the past few years where brands now more than ever are challenged to be more like people, connecting with people.
Sure.
Right? And so a lot of the traditional ways, and you've studied marketing, you've worked at agencies, and you've consulted with brands, a lot of the ways that we've gone to market and tried to connect with people in the past, tried to bring meaning to these audiences, aren't relevant today. They're just different expectations, yet we're still practicing a lot of those same textbook concepts and go-to-market strategies. So I like to tell marketers that, you know, we're very good at being students of culture, right? Like we hire research companies and agencies to inform us, social listening, et cetera, on what's happening with the people we want to connect with. But we're not really great at being participants in culture, including the people behind the brand, right? The marketing teams. And so tell me what you've seen in your partnership with brands and your time at agencies, the brands you've built yourself. Tell me what you've seen when people are doing it right, when the marketing teams are doing it right. How are they really inserting themselves in culture?
You just said a whole word right there. I mean, everything you just said there is so correct, because I think that, you know, what used to be a challenge for marketers was a lack of curiosity. It's like, you know, like there's sort of nothing pushing them to want to know more. But with the advent of data analytics, we know more than ever before, so much information, yet we don't truly have the proximity, the intimacy to help us understand what it means. I think of it like, it's like flying over New York City. I can see the patterns. I say, oh, there's Central Park, and there's Times Square, and there's Meatpacking, and there's Murray Hill. I don't know, right? Like, I can see how these things are related from a macro level, but you don't know the city until you walk the streets.
Right.
You know,
and you don't know what the E.L.F. in Murray Hill is like versus the West Village versus.
That's right. Yeah. You don't know the city until you talk to people. You don't know the city until you understand how the system that makes a city move runs, the trains. Right. Like, it requires a level of proximity that you can't get from just having the information.
And immersion and culture.
Exactly. You have to be a part of it. You don't understand and learn culture sitting on the sidelines. Just like you don't learn how to swim on the ground. You get in the water.
Right.
And this is what I'm constantly trying to urge marketers to say, if you want to understand the culture, go be a part of it. Because what happens that when you are part of it, you realize that the brands that have the most impact on culture are the ones who contribute to it. They don't go to take. They're not tapping into culture.
Right.
How do we leverage culture? Instead, they're going, how do we contribute to it? Because I understand what are the points of friction that they experience. I understand what they value. I understand what's meaningful for them. Not the broad strokes like help me. Sure, who doesn't want to be helped? It's understanding the nuances, the subtle shades of gray that makes the difference between you get me and you see me.
Yeah. Let's dive into the concept of brands taking from culture versus giving to culture, because I think you're right. I think a lot of brands have taken from culture,
Oh, yeah.
right? And that's a whole other podcast conversation. But for today, taking from culture is the easy way out, right? Oh, let me see what's happening. What are these trends? And like, why don't I just jump in on those? There's a time and a place for that for sure. And I think communities appreciate when brands have a little fun.
Yeah.
But really being a part of culture and bringing something into those communities and that environment is, I think, very challenging for brands.
100%.
Who have you seen do it well?
Oh, I mean, I think that my brand crush at the moment has to be E.L.F. Like, and one would argue it's been that way, but
Yes,
yeah, I mean,
we all love Corey.
Corey's the best. I mean, what they've done is so inspiring because they've taken a brand in a category that's known for being flashy, that's known for being sort of beauty focused. In some ways, one would argue superficial in the manner in which the category is operated. Beautiful faces, sleek bodies, certain prototypical look
Right.
of what beauty is. Instead, E.L.F. says, well, yeah, we make cosmetics, but we believe in democratized access. And everything we do as a company is about that. I mean, from the product itself, they have a prestigious product that's available at
Low
a low
cost.
cost.
Yep.
Democratization.
Yep.
Not only that, but that democratization doesn't exist in their marketing communications, but also inside their organization. That everyone who works at E.L.F. owns a part of the company.
Yep.
Whether you are the receptionist or the CEO.
Right.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And then because they have a point of view on the world, they can engage in the cultural discourse, even if it has nothing to do with makeup. For instance, they realize that.
Let me just stop you.
Okay.
Repeat that.
Yeah.
Why do they have the right to participate in culture? You just made one great point.
Because they have a point of view about the world. They have nothing to do with what they
Beyond
make.
What they're making.
That's right.
Yes.
I mean, when we have a point of view on the category, it's typically value proposition driven. My razor sharper, my battery lasts longer, my car goes faster, my shampoo will give you body, whatever that means. I never understood that, but that's what they say. And probably why I don't have my hair. But the thing is that like E.L.F. and brands like E.L.F., they say we have a point of view about the world.
Yeah.
And therefore, we can engage in the discourse in very meaningful ways because they are full of meaning. And the thing is, brands being vessels of meaning, you can mean just a pair of sneakers and go, cool. And you compete with everyone else based on your point of view about sneakers. But when you exist for something far more than that, you can start entering the discourse about things that are meaningful in my life.
Yep.
So E.L.F., they realized that they had an unbelievably diverse board of directors, one of the most diverse board of directors in publicly traded companies. And before they decided to do a victory lap about how diverse they are and how happy they are about their diversity, they realized that this is a problem.
Right.
Like there should be much more diversity.
Why is this unique to us?
Exactly. And then they dug a little bit deeper after commissioning a study. They realized that the majority of people on publicly traded boards are white guys named Richard or Rich or Ricky or Dick. They said to themselves, there's so many dicks, not enough us. And did an entire campaign with this rally cry. Has nothing to do with makeup, nothing to do with lip balm, nothing to do with eyeshadow, but everything to do about their belief system. And because of that,
their belief in access, democratization, et cetera.
That's right. So because of that belief system, they're able to be a part of the conversation in ways that are meaningful. They are contributing to the discourse in meaningful ways. Unbelievably powerful.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I agree. And we work very closely with E.L.F. and Corey and her team. And they were actually are one of the brands, and there were very few. American Eagle was one, EOS was one, that really leaned into TikTok back
Oh
in
yeah.
2019, early days.
Oh yeah.
So like these marketing leaders are taking an experimental approach, an innovative approach, and they're like testing the waters beyond their safety
That's
zone,
right.
which I think is key for other brands.
Not to mention their idea or their belief, their commitment to democratize access is so profound that they use TikTok for people to have closer access to them.
Yeah.
Right?
And they do it in a really unnatural way
Seriously.
for brands.
Yes.
So I'll give a few examples because I'm also familiar with their work. Corey's R&D person, so the E.L.F Cosmetics R&D person, is not who you'd normally imagine putting in front of, an audience of, beauty buyers. But he's like their R&D dude, and he's
Yeah.
like long hair, white hair, older white man, and he just gets on TikTok and speaks the truth about their products.
That's right.
And he does it in such an authentic way that he's really talking about the formulas and debunking, like someone asked like why the pink versus the green or what's the difference, and he's like, there's actually no difference, it's just color. Right? And so like for a brand to just step up
Yeah.
and say those things very frankly, that builds connection and
Yeah.
trust,
Yeah.
right? Because audiences, communities, people, they don't want bullshit
That's right.
anymore. Like they want to invest in brands that feel like you're not just trying to pull the wool over my eyes or sell me something I don't want,
Yeah.
but you genuinely are making things that are good for me,
Yeah.
right for me.
And what I think is dope is that they also use TikTok Live as a way to connect with their fans, their
Yeah.
people. Right? Corey talks about that there were a lot of conversations about a certain product that people wanted. And Corey was like, hold on one sec.
Yeah.
She went and got Terrain, the CEO, and they got on TikTok Live to talk about this product people were asking for. They left TikTok Live and went and started making the product.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Democratize access across
Yes.
the board. I think
Yes.
it's unbelievable what they've been able to do with, like, I think they have 500 people work at the company.
Yes.
They're 21 years old. They've already reached $1 billion in revenue, and they've had 24 consecutive quarters of growth.
Yes.
Are you kidding me right
Yeah.
now?
It's incredible.
It's unbelievable.
And they're a very loved brand.
For sure. Take a brand like E.L.F. and you go, well, Marcus, that's beauty. It's different. That's beauty. What about my brand that's not sexy? It's not cool.
Yeah.
It's not conspicuous. What does culture have to do with
I sell
what
yogurt.
Yeah,
I
it's right.
sell peanut butter.
I do you one better. I am a laundry detergent. So
Okay.
there's a brand, Persil, that's owned by Unilever.
Yep.
And they believe that dirt or dirty children is a receipt of a well-lived childhood.
I love that. I
Dirt-
actually love that.
Dirt in your hands, like,
Yeah.
kids are supposed to be dirty and
Yeah.
smell like outside and
Yeah.
break some bones. Like, that's what
Yes.
childhood is about.
Break some bones.
That's what childhood is about. Like,
Yes,
go
but
get dirty.
no, yes.
Go get dirty. And they're like, listen, go get dirty. We'll clean you up. We'll clean all the stuff.
Right.
But go outside and
Yeah,
play.
I love
Get
that.
dirty.
Yes.
So 21 years ago, maybe 22 years ago, they adopted this idea that dirt is good. Dirt is good. That's their entire premise. Dirt is good. Their products are just as good as any other in the category. It's not about the product differences because most products are parity, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's this point of view that dirt is good. So while other laundry detergents can talk about, the fidelity of how well they get your whites whiter,
Correct.
Persil could talk about what it means to raise a child. Which one is more impactful? Which one has greater connection? They can contribute to the cultural discourse beyond the category because they have a point of view about the world.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest challenges for marketers is that we often don't know what the brand believes. What's our
Yeah.
point of view? We know, that where we source our products, we know how sharp the razor is, how fast the motor goes, but what do we truly believe?
Well, that goes back to meaning and connection, right?
That's right. That's right.
I love that. Let's talk about TikTok for a
Mhm.
bit. And I'll kick off with saying we are definitely core to culture. The brand has really been a part of global culture, and we're only 6 years old. So
Mhm.
we've moved really quickly. But I'll be the first to say that we didn't create that, right? Like we put out a tool
Yeah.
for people to express their creativity. We gave the world a method for expressing creativity, and there was no bias. Anyone could touch the tool, could use the tool and really express themselves. And what we saw happen, what we all saw happen around the world was just incredible.
Yeah.
Right? Whether, like you've always wanted to be a comedian, or you love to cook, or you love mixology, or you're really into West End, whatever your interest, you're into witches, right? And like brujeria, whatever. You had a way to express that. And then other people were like, oh, I love that too. And so these communities formed of people sharing like-minded interests, similar interests, things they're passionate about. The thing that makes me, like, my eyes go wide is we do a lot of research with all these people, and they're telling us they want brands to participate. Like in today's, the world we live in today, where everyone's trying to skip an ad or, like fast forward, even the intro of a show. The fact that people are telling us, in fact, I think the stat is like 71% of people.
That's ridiculous.
Are saying that they want brands on the platform. If they participate and show up like one of them, right?
There is, yeah.
And so I've spent the last 5-ish years teaching brands how to do that. And I've seen a lot of brands jump on the bandwagon and do it well and do it right. And I've seen a lot of brands who still really struggle with that.
Yeah.
So I'd love to just like hear your point of view on some examples of brands who really understand how to connect and how to participate from a creative standpoint.
Yeah. So I think it goes back to your original point about humanizing the brand. This idea of anthropomorphizing the brand. We don't connect with inanimate objects. We turn it into things. We give it names. We name our cars. We name boats. This is a way by which we're able to connect. If you look at advertising from like the 60s, 70s, you had ho, 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 green giant, a way to sort of make these things feel human. In social networking platforms, the advent of them gave brands an opportunity to really project its personality beyond 30 seconds and show these different pieces of themselves to help round out a point of view on the brand's voice. When I think about TikTok, I don't even think about TikTok as a social networking platform. I think about it more so as a facilitator. It is giving you tools to go create and created the environment by which you're able to see other creators create. And you go, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna borrow that hook. I'm gonna take a little bit of this and do my own thing. And it's like, it's provided a place for people to express their identity. And of course, brands will be welcomed there because we use brands as identity projects. Hello, I'm wearing a Block M as a way of projecting my identity as a member of the Michigan Wolverine community. Right? You never see me with the Ohio State, never ever, right? Even if it matched my outfit.
Never ever, right.
It's because brands, being vessels of meaning, they project our identity in meaningful ways. So, which brands do this well? The brands who have a point of view about the world and realize that they are connecting with people, not machines who eat messages and crap cash, not consumers, but people.
Right.
I'd be remiss not to mention McDonald's here. McDonald's made a very clear and intentional decision that they are not talking to customers, they're talking to fans. Real life human beings who self-identify as fans of McDonald's.
Yes.
And they found that these fans are on the platform projecting their identity, their fandom, and they're doing it in ways that are integrated with their other fandom, right? Like, I'm a fan of nail art, so I put McDonald's logos on my nails because I'm a fan of McDonald's and nail art is my thing, or tiny homes, or whatever the case may be. And McDonald's looks at it and go, wow, what if we engage fans through their fandom as opposed to talking about my burger is bigger, we have more pickles. I don't know.
Right.
And it's through that they say, okay, let's engage them in meaningful ways. They've partnered with TikTok to do these things. And the great part about it is that McDonald's isn't even doing a lot of advertising. They are adding or contributing to the cultural discourse in such a way that the community goes, that's cool, thank you.
Yes.
Let me take it, rework it, recontextualize it, and allow them to build, because that's what fans do.
Right.
They co-create. And McDonald's realized this and say, okay, take it. They don't try to police it. We're not going to be the brand police. We're not going to try to be the design guide
Yeah.
police. Instead, we realize that we are in dialogue.
Right.
And this platform is an enabler
Right.
that allows that dialogue to happen, but give you tools to take it a step further.
Yeah, I want to say two things on this. One, there is this sense of like preciousness and protection over the brand. And I get it because we've been taught that way, right?
Of course.
But in this kind of creative community and the evolution of marketing, you can't control it.
No.
Because people are going to talk about your brand, engage with your brand however they want to. And that creates a groundswell and kind of like a mass impact to other people then
Yes.
engaging and talking about your brand. And when that happens and it's positive, you better be there to participate and encourage. But when it happens and it's negative, you also have to be there and be a part of it. And that's very scary for brands.
That's true. I mean, it gets to a broader point that if brands are vessels of meaning, the truth of the matter is that marketers don't make meaning. People do. We signal in hopes that people go, I see it that way too. And before, there weren't many ways by which people were able to do that together. They watched it asynchronously.
Correct.
On television, at home, unless they're on the phone on three-way. Otherwise, it's just them. And maybe they go to school, talk about it the next day. But the platform enables the conversation to happen concurrently with a mass amount of people who are part of a community to negotiate it right there and say, it means this or it doesn't. Therefore, brands have to show up frequently and project yourself.
Yeah.
But realize that you aren't making the meaning.
Right.
You're signaling in a way that's congruent with the people you're trying to connect to because you know who they are and you're intimate with who they are.
Right.
That they go, I see you, McDonald's.
Yeah.
Word up.
Yeah. You talked about engagement just now. And I can tell you with certainty that there is no other platform that exists that has the level of engagement that we do on TikTok.
Sure.
And that started early days with duets and stitches. Remember those? Like,
Oh, yeah.
that's how it started.
Stitch incoming.
Right, right. And then it moved on to comments, right? And then it moved on to comments influencing video and more posts. And today I find that when I'm sharing with friends, I'm screen grabbing comments to share along with the video because the conversation happening in the comments is almost as great as the content itself.
This has been, to me, one of the coolest developments of the platform. Again, not controlled by you all.
Right.
It has been constructed by the people. As a researcher, I would look to TikTok to see how people are negotiating meaning based on the content that they're creating. I looked at the different videos that are being made to go, okay, this is what's happening here. But I didn't really spend a lot of time in the comments because they weren't as rich. But to your point, the comments have become a place where it's like, oh, I'm here just for the comments.
It's totally here for the comments.
Yeah, the speed at which I went to the
Yes.
comment section.
Yes.
Like that development says a lot about the richness of negotiation, the richness of the constructions that are happening on the platform where people are making meaning together. And they are commenting on other people's comments. And then you see creators screen grab a comment, put it on their video, and then talk about their comment relative to what they talked about earlier.
Yep.
If we look at traditional media and see where traditional media has been the most successful, particularly in sport, it's through the meta text. It's the conversations about the conversations. It's the stories about the commentator's take on a story that happened on the court, the text about the text. That's sort of what's happening on the platform. It's the meta text. It's the comments about the stories that's talking about something that happened out
That's
in the
right.
world. The complex social processing that's happening on the platform is phenomenal, which makes it not only a rich place for us to better understand society, better understand
Yes.
the cultural conventions of a
Tons of
community,
insights in the comments. Yes.
but now you have so much richness to say, how can I contribute to this based on how I see the world as a brand?
Yeah. It requires a lot of time investment. And we know that, right? Like going back to Corey, she says that she reviews like, I don't know, 2,000 comments a day. Like that's part of her exercise as someone who wants to be a participant in culture.
Yeah.
We do the same, by the way, from a TikTok perspective. We're constantly looking at who's talking about us and responding in real time, but we're also watching the behavior and we're walking our own talk, right?
Sure.
We notice that people were coming to TikTok to search because the search experience is a lot more
Ridiculous.
robust,
It's
right?
ridiculous. Yeah.
And so I can go somewhere else and search for vacation spots for families and tweens, right? Because that's what I'm doing now, right? I have tween daughters, one almost tween daughter, one tween daughter, and like I got to find the right place to take them. And I'll get a lot of like static imagery, a bunch of ads that I have to sort through, et cetera, before I find what I'm looking for. I go to TikTok and I search for this and I get experiences. I'm immediately immersed into experiences.
Yep.
I'm looking for a date night spot. I'm looking for a restaurant in New York to take a team of 10. Any of those searches net me such a robust result that I can watch a TikTok and feel the vibe.
That's right.
I can see, like, is that the kind of vibe I want to be a part of? It is such a rich dynamic that this has now become a discovery platform.
I went to Singapore sight unseen. I was there for work and I had like a day. And I was like, what am I going to do while I'm here?
Yes.
And my first instinct was like, go to TripAdvisor. And I was like, oh man, you got to go through all those comments and like,
right.
Is that person's vibe what I'd like?
Totally. Am I listening to someone's comment who like matches my ethos?
Or said it even more acutely, is this person like me?
Yeah.
Because culture moves forward on the basis of one simple question. Do people like me do something like this? So I'm looking at this comment, I'm like, well, he didn't like it, but like, is this my kind of person? Or
do we like
have
the
same
same
vibes?
things?
Exactly. But I go on TikTok, literally, I went on TikTok, I was like, what should I do in Singapore? Tons of videos. And I go, well, that person, I don't even like, I won't even eat anything like that.
Right.
And I'm looking at like the kind of videos going like, oh, this person seems to be a mirror of me. We probably like the same things. Let me see what their experience was. And I literally did exactly what his video said to do and had a blast. That is like, again, the richness of search becomes really, really powerful.
Yes.
When I'm not just getting information, but I'm getting the meta text. I'm getting all the meta tagging of the information that helps me make better decisions about what I should do.
And it spans every vertical, whether you're looking for financial advice or travel advice or, you're exploring electric vehicles and you want to see what that's like, how someone has experienced it, et cetera. What does it sound like when it turns on?
That's right.
You can watch a 30-second spot maybe that delivers that, or you can feel more connected to the person sharing that.
A nation's tourism board, I'd be all over this.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, we're about to go ham on this. Like, we're going to provide all the different experiences based on your cultural interests, based on the things that matter to you. Really powerful.
Yeah, we definitely work with a lot of tourism boards, and we are seeing a lot more industries lean into this, both the search component and really understanding the consumer behavior of how they're using TikTok beyond entertainment, right? But more for discovery. Let's talk about music.
Okay.
Again, TikTok has been known to not only influence the music industry, release hits before they're hits, feature creatives and artists before they're big. What's your point of view on music on TikTok and how brands can really leverage that?
TikTok is like the new mixtape, where mixtapes used to be underground with a certain people and a certain geography knew it. And then one person outside of the Detroit heard it and played it for their friends, and it began to propagate, right, in a social contagious way. That's what TikTok is. Someone takes a piece of a song, added to their video, Anxiety with Doechii.
Yes.
And it's like, yo, this is killer. I'm going to use it for my thing. And then it influences the next person and so on and so on. And before long, it becomes the sonic silhouette of the cultural zeitgeist in the moment. That doesn't happen in any other medium, in any other vehicle to the scale in which it happens on TikTok. But the same the same phenomenon is taking place. It reminds me of Marshall McLuhan, scholar who studied technology and human behavior. And he would say technology is merely an extension of human behavior. It extends human behavior, much like the will is an extension of the foot, clothes extensions of the skin, glass extensions of the eyes. The technologies we use today just extend human behavior. TikTok is an extension of human behavior, like the mixtape was for us. Like I wasn't from New York, but I heard like these different rappers based on the mixtape because my boy who lived in New York went to school with me and shared the stuff, and it began to propagate before it blew up, as it were. This is exactly what's happening on the platform. People are taking a piece of this, nothing about that. I'm about to put it on my video, and people are, that's cool, and it begins to propagate. It's just extending human behavior. And I think when you see it, you get a better understanding of the underlying physics of human behavior so that we can engage with it in meaningful ways.
Okay, so put your creative hat on.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the example you gave, anxiety, Dochi. What brand could tap into that?
Oh, I mean, if I were Talkspace, if I were any of those like virtual therapy offerings, it'd be like, don't we know, Dochi?
Yes.
We got it. Like, and here's a way to get over it. Like, I would be all about that, right? And again, it's just about understanding the humanity of it all and your point of view of it all. And I write about this in my book, and I always credit Eric Holtman for this. His metaphor is perfect, at least in my opinion. He says when it comes to engaging with culture, it's like a car. You can drive it where you're leading culture, and you lead culture by contributing new cultural conventions, new beliefs, artifacts, behaviors, language. Or maybe you could just ride shotgun. Riding shotgun is like you're not bringing new conventions to the table, but you are weighing in on the conventions that already exist based on your point of view. And like some of the best advertising does that. I mean, the absolute best, drive it. But like really good advertising, ride shotgun. The worst thing you can do is suck tailpipe. And that's where you just jump on a thing. And that's what most brands do. They jump on a thing. And it's not because they're doing the thing or like mimetically recreating the thing. They're just weighing in with no point of view. It's just like music. Like when, the cool kids listen to the music and people are like, oh, I want to be cool to be a part of it. And then a brand goes, I want to do it too. And you go, stop.
Yeah. It's the Steve Buscemi meme.
Yes.
Remember
Hello,
that
my
one?
fellow kids. Yeah, it's the same thing. Or Ashton Hall, the workout guy, like my morning routine.
Right.
And like he does it, and then some other creators started doing it, some comedians started doing it, and then brands started doing it. You go, oh man. We were having fun. Now you just messed it all up. Sucking tailpipe. That's the problem.
Yeah.
You jump on things, sucking tailpipe. It's just like in our social groups. When someone jumps on a thing and you go, oh, stop. Just stop it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately that happens because you don't have a point of view.
Yeah.
On the music side, you hear musicians talk about like the TikToking of music.
Yeah.
That like music has gotten shorter.
Yeah.
They're not, 5-minute long.
Right.
But it's like, but isn't that what technology does? Because there was at one time where the EP the record was only so big that the songs could only be so long. Right? Like the 45s, right? Sorry, the 45s.
Right.
Were only so big, so physically you can only have a song so long. Then you flip it up and you have the B-side. Well, the technology is allowed for longer songs, more music. But then technology evolves, right? And now people I don't need the full song. All I need is the sit by myself, talking to the moon.
Right.
And that's
because
all I need.
it's like the best part of the song, right? In so many ways.
That's right.
Also, and I have young kids, right? So I'm watching this happen, and I hate that I just said that because now I'm that person that says like my kid watches TikTok, but it does really trip me out because I watch my 12-year-old. She's watching Gilmore Girls, right, really into it, but I'll watch her like fast forward parts.
Yeah.
Almost like she's like, if it's like not an interesting part of the show, she'll skip past it. I'm like, you're missing stuff. And she's like, eh. Like she wants to get to the good stuff. So
That's
I
interesting.
do see this transformation of like just like an acceptance or a need of snackable content
Yeah.
now, right?
Or at the very least, to have agency to decide what I want to take in.
Right.
I mean, we grew up on cassette tapes where you just had to
Right.
let it live.
Right.
Trying to fast forward to it was never going to
Yeah,
get
it's never
there.
gonna
And you
happen.
can't do too much of it because the actual tape will get caught and
Right,
break.
right,
So,
right.
so this idea of
Ooh,
agency.
Marcus,
I
you
know.
just
But like the idea of agency, I think, is a really powerful thing. Again, technology enables agency. So while I understand the concerns that the music industry has about the music being reduced to 30 seconds,
Yeah.
60 seconds. Where it's like, no, you gotta let the song blossom. It's like, well, you don't even have bridges in songs anyways anymore. So what are we talking about here? I get it. I get what they're going after. But I also think that there is a notion where we program for the medium.
Yeah.
We program for what is there. And understanding how people consume becomes a way by which we ensure that our programming is aligned with not just the medium, with people's expectations as well.
I want your perspective on like what you're seeing in terms of how AI is really influencing the industry when it comes to creating things.
Yeah. So I have I have a neutral stance, and by that I mean I get the good, I get the bad. A part of me feels encouraged by what technology allows us to do.
Yes.
As a fan of hip hop, like how can you be anti-technology when it comes to music? Because
Right.
it is the manipulation, the reworking of technology that allowed hip hop to be what it is. You know, there was a time when music producers were using drum machines, and live session drummers were like, "Why would you use a drum machine when you have me here as a drummer?" That would have been a great opportunity for those live drummers to understand the technology and be the best
Yes.
drum programmers
Yes,
ever.
yes.
But instead, they go, "That's not real drumming. I don't do that."
Right.
And you got people who aren't drummers who learned the technology
Yes.
and made those
Yes.
guys less demanding or less compelling.
Yes.
Right? Hip hop was once not even considered real music. Artists were taking other people's music and with very, very sophisticated, strategic ways of finding a sample and building on it and adding to it, using technology available to them. People said that's not music. Hip hop is one of the most consumed genres of music in the world. We wouldn't say that now, but then we did because we thought that the technology was reducing the craft. So I kind of have that take. Like, would you ever say that Q-Tip isn't a musician? No, that'd be ridiculous, right?
Right.
Dr. Dre's not a musician? Come on, that's ridiculous. So I have that stance when it comes to what the technology enables. On the other side of it, though, what AI does, at least where it is right now, is that it regresses to the mean. It regresses to what is normal, takes what is there, and then they say, oh, based on what the prompt was, here's an output that's closely aligned to your expectations.
Yes.
And your expectations is muted or is reduced to your imagination. And your imagination, unless you are a creator, is based on what already exists. And for music, that kind of sucks, right? If everything starts to sound the same, you go, oh man, like, sure, it sounds good relative to everything else, but music, just like most cultural production, is meant to push us, to move us, right? If everyone sounded the same, will we ever get a Frank Ocean who's like, no, I'm going to subvert that?
Right.
Like, creativity is subversion.
Yes.
And I don't know if AI, as it exists right now today, can do that on its own. But it can aid creators to get there. And that's interesting.
Yeah, I think the two words that stand out for me and what you just said are imagination, right? Because that is core to any technology.
Yeah.
Right? People have to think it up before it becomes. It doesn't create itself.
That's right.
And I think that's where we are today with AI. And like, frankly, I've challenged myself to use a lot of the tools beyond, the chat GPTs of the world. And, there's a lot to be desired with the creative tools today. From a TikTok perspective, we have built tools that help accelerate the process.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, we're hearing this from creatives at creative agencies and creators, right? Like, how can you help me make more? So that's kind of where we've leaned in terms of our AI innovation and our ability to really, again, like we did with the TikTok tool itself, empower people to create, right? But that's a tool, to your point, and people have to guide the tool, and the tool will get better as you give it more information, as your vision grows.
I think it's the empowerment is the operative word. So the tool is there to empower you to realize your imagination, even if you can't do the thing.
Yes.
Right. So like I'm not an art director. Like I don't create visual things.
Yes.
But I have ideas for content. I have ideas for
Totally.
this. It's like, oh, I can use AI to help supplement that. Just like musicians back in the day said, I'm not a drummer. Right? I play keys.
But I hear it. I hear it in my head. I just don't know how to do it.
This technology allows me to do that. Like, that's unbelievably powerful. Like,
Right.
Could you imagine not having a Tribe Called Quest?
Yeah.
Because there was no drum machine or
Right.
there's no sampler for Q-Tip to do what he does. Like, the world will be lost.
One of my favorite bands, by the way. Like,
Again,
grew
it's
up
the
with
best.
them.
The best. So it's, to me, it's that. It's the technology unlocking our potential, unlocking our imagination, because it empowers us to realize it where there is anemia.
I do see in our industry a lot of resistance to it, mostly because there's a purist approach to the craft, right? Like it's like when photography evolved, right? There were those people who were like, oh, but you can't get the same effect if you don't develop it yourself. And right. But the reality is, like, it made it faster and easier. And there's so many beautiful things you can do to an image now because of technology. So that's where I see us going, both at TikTok, evolving the way that you can make things, right? Like helping you do that, helping you realize your vision and your dream. And what are you seeing in terms of brands leaning into new technologies?
I think that what I see brands spending most of their time thinking about is how do we leverage the efficiency of the technology to create more scale of production, as opposed to how do we make better. And to that, like, again, I think that the technology is supposed to extend human behavior. So the notion is that if we spend our time focusing on understanding people well and engaging them based on shared beliefs, we should use the technology to help us make more of the things that get us there.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, I'm totally cool with that. It's when we're going to circumvent all of our doing, just give it all to technology. So we're going to put a prompt in, tell us about the people, tell us what they care about, and then go make the thing for us to talk to them. And we're going to watch the whole thing.
Right.
And I go, well, what part do you play, human?
Right.
In this? Again, the technology is meant to help. Like, we're supposed to be in service of the people, the technology is in service of us. But when we outsource all the parts of marketing to the technology, then it's like, well, what role do we play in all of this? Where's the humanity in it all?
The imagination.
Exactly. So I find myself, again, kind of neutral in this, because I see the good, I see the bad, I see the benefits, I see the negative consequences. And the part that troubles me is the outsourcing of all of it to the technology. Outsourcing all of it. From the insights to the data extraction, to the insights, to the briefs, to the actual creative, to the deployment, and then even to how we engage after the fact.
Wow. Yeah,
That's
you're right.
scary.
That we can get there. It's very possible.
Yes.
It goes back to everything that we've said today around connecting and meaning, creating meaning. There's still such a human component to all of that, and I don't see that going away for a long time. Really, hopefully ever. But I do feel like, what we saw happen over the past 4 to 5 years with creators and the infusion of creativity, creativity from everyday people, right? That was brought to our world makes me feel really great and really optimistic about where we're headed.
Totally.
And technology is just going to help infuse that.
That's the beautiful part about TikTok in my eyes. It's the creators who use the tools in ways that you probably even know were possible. They use the tools and stretch it beyond, what its sort of function is on the surface. And it's like, wow, the way you manipulate that, I didn't even realize you could
Right.
do that. That's
Right.
super cool. Not unlike Grandmaster Flash saying, I'm going to use this fader so I can go from one turntable to the other. You go, dude, I know you could do that. That's super cool.
Yeah.
It's not the technology. The technology is just in service of your imagination.
Correct.
And I feel like that's where humanity was always going to win. Our ability to create, our ability to see things that are not there and have the wherewithal, the courage to actually try to make it come to life.
Beautifully said. All right, so this is a podcast where we hope to inspire the industry with solutions, right? Conversations, big ideas. Can you address the audience for a second? And as a professor of culture, talk to all of the marketers, all of the CMOs, all the VPs of marketing, all the brand folks. If you were in their shoes, what are 2 things that you would tell your team today that they have to start doing or stop doing?
Ooh. So if I was a marketer today, 2 things I would tell my teams they need to stop doing and start doing. The first is I would stop looking at your customers as customers and start seeing them as real life human beings.
Change the term.
That's
they are
it.
people.
They're people, right? And they're not Gen Zs. They're not They're not millennials. No one cares about Gen Xers. They're not boomers.
By the way, it's also, they're not their demographics. They're not a 40-year-old Latina woman who blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. They're real life human beings. Who are they? Because I think when we start to humanize people, removing the labels that we assign to them, we go, oh, if they're not these things, then who are they? And now you find yourself in a place of curiosity. So the first is see people for who they are. And then it's moving from this space of certainty to a place of curiosity. To go, I don't know the answers. I'm not really sure. Culture's always changing. So what was hot today may be cool tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? What was acceptable today may not be tomorrow. So I have to continue to engage, to re-engage. And we know this in any real meaningful relationship we have with people. I don't go, I haven't talked to Sophia in 10 years. I bet she's exactly the same.
Right. No, it's an always on commitment.
Yes, people are dynamic. And we check in with people in an effort to foster relationships. And I don't go in and say, hey, Sophia, I haven't seen you in 10 years. Let me tell you everything I've been up to. All right, good seeing you. Take care. No, we go, what's been up? Talk to me. What's going on? Oh, interesting. I've been doing the exact same thing. Oh, no way. We find ourselves in discourse. We find ourselves in conversation. The dialogue back and forth is how we build relationships. And that's what we're really trying to do. We're trying to connect with people in meaningful ways because of the relationships that we have established that require seeing people for who they are, not these boxes that we put them in, but who they truly are, and then be curious enough to want to know more.
Marcus, thank you so much for being here with us today. We've had this conversation all over the world, and every time I learn more, and I feel like it becomes deeper and more robust. So thank you for that, and thank you for sharing that with our audience. Everyone watching, to learn more about our brand building and advertising solutions and how your brand can really, truly immerse themselves in culture, click the link in our bio. And also, if you want to watch more Made for TikTok episodes, make sure you hit subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. We have incredible people joining. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.